Yo, so, man, Materialist, which originally I thought was the Materialist, but it's not, right? It's just Materialist. This is the new film from Celine Song. She wrote and directs, right? It is produced by Song, along with Christine Vacon, Pamela Koffler, David Hyanojusa, Jorge Hernandez Aldana. It is executive produced by Timo Argalanda, Len Blavatnik, Danny Cohen, Andrea Scarso, Taylor Shong. Oh, Christina Velasco is also a producer on the film. Apologies, Christina. Okay, so we also... It is co-produced by Ben Khan, with line production from Sandra Paradisa. Daniel Pemberton took care of the music. Shabia Kirshner is on cinematography. Keith Frassier edits the piece, with casting from Douglas Abel. All right, production design, we have Anthony Gasparo. Molly Mikula is art direction. Set decoration is Amy Beth Silva, with Katina Danabasis on costume design. All right, hair, makeup, all of that jazz. We have Mandy Bissetti, Kathleen Brown, Jessica Butonowitz, John Carter, Michelle Keglia, Judy Chin, Jen Delcia, Enrique Estrada Meja, Yaya Gomez, Courtney Jarrell, Jennifer Lord, Melissa Martinez, Danielle McRae, Roberto Ortiz, Cynthia Romero, Emma Strachman, Courtney Ulrich, Tony Ward, Daria Y. Wright. Okay, so they all took care of that. Okay, so our cast. Oh, hold on a second, people. We have our stunt people, Becca GT, Chris Morena, and Matt Triplett. Okay, so our cast. All right. We have got Lucy, played by Dakota Johnson. There is her boss, Violet, played by Marin Island. We have got her ex, John, played by Chris Evans. Her new love interest, Harry, played by Pedro Pascal. There is one of Lucy's clients, Sophie, played by Zoe Winters. We've got Charlotte, another client, played by Louisa Jacobson. Robert, played by Eddie Cahill. Mason, played by Sawyer Spielberg. Trevor, played by Joseph Lee. Mark P., another client. We just hear the voice, right? He is played by John Magaro. Oh, did I say Daisy? I'm not sure I did. Daisy, played by Dasha Nekrasova. Our wedding singer is Baby Rose. Right, we've also got Patricia, played by Hayley Pfeiffer. Beth, played by Madeline Wise. Eleanor, played by Setska Rose. Audrey, played by Nedra Maria Taylor. Trevor, played by Joseph Lee. Who else do we have? Logan, played by Ian Stewart. Ron, played by Dan Domench. Jen, played by Rachel Ziegler-Hag. Jamie, played by Alison Bartlett. Linda, played by Lindsay Broad. Harry's dad is played by Emiliano Diaz. Yeah, that. I think that's mainly it. And one of the other matchmakers is played by Swami Saparo. Right, and the gist of the story, right? A young, ambitious New York City matchmaker finds herself torn between the perfect match and her imperfect ex. So yeah, this is Song's follow-up film to Past Lives, her second feature film. I wasn't able to watch part. I've heard so many good things, but the subtitles, I just can't, unfortunately, which is very irritating. But I was happy to watch this. Although I was a bit scared at the beginning, because we open up and we have cave people. And at first I'm like, yo, this ain't going to be subtitled, is it? No. But it is this kind of sweet moment with no dialogue. It's about love and, you know, it works. Then we cut to modern days, right? And yeah, we got Lucy. So she works for a door, right? It's like a matchmaking service. You know, you pay and they find you people. So it's like a dating app, but, you know, in real life, essentially, right? All of these things are similar, you know? So, yeah. It's the dating world, man. You know what I mean? And I really like the film because, I don't know, it's funny. I had a conversation recently. It might be, oh yeah, of course it's out, with Arena Ing. And we, you know, just talking about love and the depiction of love and all of this kind of thing, right? And I think a lot of the times we see this very simplistic form of love, right? Which I think people grow up watching it and it fools them, right? And they're like, I want that, right? There has to be this instant lightning bolt and just all of these things, which sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, right? Sometimes it's a gradual tsunami. But there are so many different types of love, but we only ever really see one type. And it talks about in a certain way. And in Materialist, it is broken down in, you know, an honest way in some respects, right? Because we see flashbacks, right? Because I think you kind of know where it's going, you know? I mean, watching it, I did. And I watch so many films. So, you know, maybe if you don't watch as many films and ingest them in a certain way, you might not know. But I'm watching it, I kind of guess where it's going. Now, we take an interesting route to that place. But it's like, initially, we see flashbacks of her relationship with John. And the reason why they split up, right? Because he doesn't make enough money, essentially, you know? And she, is honest about it, right? Like how he's trying to make her happy and she appreciates that, and it's nearly enough, right? Because even his best efforts don't hit the level that she is hoping for. And it's one of those, she grew up poor. And I think there's a lot of people and they grow up a certain way and then you look for the escape, right? And once you have escaped, you're like, I will never go back. I will never, you know what I mean, put up with a certain level of, existence again. And so, what I mean, they it's no longer a cheap sandwich, right? In the deli, it's always now it's high end. It's high end this, high end that. Shopping in a certain spot, right? But people don't necessarily want to say that, right? People will tell, I'm open to meeting anyone. They're not. They're not. Right? What's the point in lying? There's a funny bit, and a woman is, and this isn't a spoiler, right? But she's just like, I'm open to meeting anyone if at first, you just match me with white people, and if that doesn't work, then maybe we open it up a little bit. And she's just like, wait, so you just want me to find you white people? No. I'm open to meeting anyone. But at first, you just want to meet. And that's the thing, right? People will write on profiles and stuff, oh, I'm open to, but they're not. But because it's a matching service, right, they're happy to tell certain things to the person, right? That person being Lucy. And so we get this, we see these interesting scenarios, right? And we get that honest breakdown of people's perception of love. You know what I mean? And the thing being, right, obviously, this isn't everyone's perception of love. But it's a lot of people. And some people, it's not money. Some people, it's height, right? There's a heap of tiny girls who will gotta be 6'5" over. And they're 5 foot, if that, right? So you're just like, even someone 5'6" is still taller than them considerably, and with heels on they'd still be slightly taller, right? So you know what I mean, it doesn't necessarily make sense, but they won't always say that thing, but there are these things, these criterias, these hidden criterias that people have but don't express, and we lay them all out in this film, which I respected that. But the relationship with Harry, right, I just thought, you know what, that's again, it's an interesting dynamic that isn't always spoken about. The same with the one with John. So I really like that aspect of the film. Now, some bits, like there's an incident that happens, and when you consider how long Lucy has been doing this for, I was surprised, right? I'm like, it doesn't necessarily make sense for her not to have thought about the scenario, right? Because even if you haven't come across it, you would know people working in a similar field, and someone, like, it's happening to someone. Now you could go, well, that's their spot. Their spot isn't as good as our spot. That would never happen to us. Though we don't see anything in place to mitigate. You know what I mean? Which is an interesting thing. But yeah, I was surprised by her reaction to the thing. Now, the reaction helps move the story forward, right? So it's got to be there. But yeah, there was that. And I kind of feel with the ending, right? Now, we're in a place where I assumed we would be going. But I thought that we maybe needed a little bit more just to, you know what I mean? When we understand what Lucy wants, how does that sync up now? Right? But it was just those things. Now, the rest of the film, yeah, I thought the performances were great. And that is definitely tremendous for Chris Evans, because recently his last few films, right, have been a little bit shaky. You know what I mean? I think it's fair to say, you know, there's been some not so great affairs, right? And we know he's a very good actor, so it's just like, because I thought he was he was great as Captain America, and I thought he was really good in Knives Out, you know. So those ones are really good. I enjoyed The Grey Man, right? It's not really the book, but for what it was, I thought it was fine. You know, Ghosted, ooh, that was not good. Ghosted was not good. I didn't really enjoy Red One. But this was great, right? It really, again, showed his acting chops and his ability to, you know what I mean, bring us all these different emotions. Now, the rest of the cast, again, they really hit what they were meant to be. Pedro Pascal was great as Harry, you know, because I think, well, can't really say too much, right? Zoe Winters as Sophie really nailed that. Yeah, the performances were great. I also loved, oh my days, I loved this score. Daniel Pemberton did such an incredible job. Such an incredible job, right? We had Japanese Breakfast doing a song. Baby Rose did a couple of songs, right? There was this through line piece of music that underscored a lot of the scenes, and there's a slightly different tempo to it, but it was just it kind of just sucks you in. You know what I mean? It just draws you further into the scene. Right? It wasn't there wasn't music to be like, this is sad, this is happy, this is no, but it was the music just worked so well. Right? So we have this sharp dialogue, we have, you know, and when I say sharp dialogue, it's not all West Wing, you know, walk and talk and blah blah blah. And I love West Wing, don't get me wrong, right? But there was emotion and feeling and, you know, breath to the dialogue. So dialogue, score, performances, you know, camera, all of these things just worked. All of these things worked really, really well, you know. So yeah, other than just the minor little issues in a couple of places, right? I thought Materialist was a really good joint. I think if you like thing, it kind of reminded me a bit of, I'm watching it and I'm thinking of like Spanglish, and I think there was a Clooney film. I think it was Decemberists. I think that's what it was called. But it not the completely different films, but it was just the kind of the temperament of those films, you know? If we're thinking on terms of what this is, it's a bit like In Search of a Midnight Kiss, you know? I would say. Or maybe Sidewalks of Manhattan in a way, but not quite, right? But if you like those kind of films and these explorations of love, a bit like Linklater's Before trilogy, right? A bit like, Arena Ing's film, La Tres Velours, right? I butcher it, Waltz for Free, you know? But it's these explorations of love. And when they're done this well, I think that's just, you know what I mean? It just hits you. Because we've all gone through these things. We've all looked and searched and hoped. So I think you can take something away. It will resonate you in a certain way, you know? Even if it's not the exact same situation, you will understand it. And so when it's done well, like this, you know what I mean? So yeah. Now, I believe this is already dropped in the States, right? I think it dropped in June, which is, man, so weird. It's weird, right? That long a gap, right? But yeah, people, UK, definitely go watch this film. Definitely go watch this film and let me know, what did you think, right? Did it resonate with you? You know what I mean? Did you enjoy the performances? Did you like the score? Right? Do you think the right people got with the right people? Would you use a matchmaking service? People, let me know. All right? Materialist.